Let's go beyond the connection. Welcome to the podcast today. I'm Steve MacDonald, your host. And today we have a true expert in the wireless network AI infrastructure industry, Ajay Malik. Now, Ajay, I'm going to try to do justice to a pretty broad background that you have. All the way back from your days at the Wi-Fi Alliance, you were setting the standards for Wi-Fi. You've worked at companies like Google and Qualcomm and Motorola and Cisco. You hold, is it true, over 100 patents? Is that right?
Yes, yes. Some are still pending, but yes.
Okay. You've written a book on AI for wireless networks. You are right now the CEO of StudioX, your own consulting firm that works with small businesses all the way up to Fortune 500 companies and enabling their bottom line and growth through the use of AI. So we're very privileged to have you on today. Thank you very much. There's a lot that I didn't go over there. So I'd love to just give you the floor for a minute here and expand a little bit more on your background, and then we'll dig right into, why our wireless first network should be our first strategy. But let's hear a little bit more about you first.
Not much to tell. Okay, I'm a geek, 100% geek. I am most happy when I'm within 2 feet of my laptop. So that's my life. And, I passed out in 1989 from IIT in India. And final year project was in AI. So I have seen the AI winter, as the people say. Like I started it and nothing happened. AI almost disappeared from the world. And then in 2010-12, it started coming back. And it has come back with like a vengeance. And it's like everywhere now. In fact, it is so much everywhere. If you say you are an AI company, it's almost boring now. So what? Right? So it's like the same thing with the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi kept moving up. And I have been lucky. I started my journey in networking with a company called Bay Networks. I don't know if you know, it was like a competitor of Cisco. And it got acquired by Nortel, Northern Telecom, and it became Nortel Networks and the whole story. And I was in wired space, learned the wired space, and then I moved in 99 Symbol Technologies doing pre-Wi-Fi, which then became Wi-Fi. We worked making it Wi-Fi, defining it. I have deployed Wi-Fi in almost, you think of a company name, big company name, Walmart, JCPenney, Macy's, because wireless was the choice of retailers. And that's how it started. That was the main driver. And I have seen it, everything, 11B, 11A, 11G, 11AC, Wave 1, Wave 2, everything. I have gone through the whole Wi-Fi path journey, building the chipsets also in Qualcomm finally.
Well, based on that background, I would love to just start out and ask, you wrote a book that has wireless networking, AI for wireless networking. You were excited to talk about why our wireless first network should be our first strategy. I'd love you to start there. When we talk about networking and building redundant, resilient networks for multi-location environments where you're in urban settings and rural settings, and we've got satellite feeds, we've got all kinds of ISP connections we can choose from these days. Why? What's your opinion on why the world in the future belongs to the wireless first strategy?
Very good question. And I tell you this, I don't think Wi-Fi is a technology choice. I think Wi-Fi is a business acceleration strategy. It's a lot more than that. It is like you cut the deployment time, you reduce the infrastructure cost. That's the only way you can meet the growing demand for the seamless, like what people need. I don't think world will make any progress in any form if the wireless was not there. I don't think wireless is like, oh, we use wired and we should use wireless. I think that question is not even a question. It is wireless. You know what? Every day, like I still think, and not just for this, and I have been thinking about in wireless for charging, and wireless charging is not there yet. And I'm telling you, that is also coming. And people have been trying, like wireless is used for location also. Wireless is for everything. Wireless is not just for a technology networking choice.
Now, there's a hint of emphasis, right? When we say wireless first, it doesn't say wireless only. And if there were the naysayers, they're the ones that are kind of having to be pulled along in this wireless first world because they're worried about the issues with wireless. They're worried about connectivity and dropping and network outages and things like that. What would you say to that group of people?
What would you say to the people? You know what? I think it's okay to have beliefs and opinions, right? And it's okay, like somebody telling you this works or doesn't work. I think I respect everybody's opinion. However, today is 2025, and we are in a stage where it's not just what we need from the network, it how it can be managed from the network, or how you manage the network. The both paradigms are completely changed. What you need from the network is humongous, and everybody needs it anywhere, everywhere. If it is not wireless, it's not even possible. I have a problem when I get stuck because of the charging cable for my phone. I don't want to be tied with it, but I am tied, and you know what? It's painful. And same thing is with the network. It has to be anywhere, everywhere. Whether I am at the top of the Everest mountain, and that's where Elon is trying to make sure everybody has access to the network everywhere. Also, I think the people are right from their past perspective. The Wi-Fi has gone through a big journey. There will be people who will say, "Oh, scars on the back, scars on the back." But scars on the back doesn't mean you don't move forward and you don't recognize and work with the current state of it. The wireless networks depended upon humans to keep them working. They required hands and minds always working together to keep wireless networking up, because wireless networking was getting defined. I remember once, like in Walmart, we had deployed and everything was fine. And suddenly everybody is like, oh, Monday morning comes, the network is not working, Wi Fi is not working, people are in pain. What happened? Was there a version update? No update, nothing. Nothing happened. What happened? Why suddenly the network became so bad? And so we jump and look into it. And then we realize what happened finally. They had a huge sale, what that resulted in a lot of shelves became empty. And now the lot of metal shelves got exposed, which created a noise in the air in the Wi-Fi. See what the problems we were dealing with early stage when people were defining the protocols and everything was happening and we were learning. And this is, I'm telling you, when it 11B and 11G days. And so protocols have improved, the quality has improved, and we are like now Wi-Fi 8 is almost here. We are at a different level of the quality. Wi-Fi provides amazing quality, amazing shareable quality. Wi-Fi is a very reliable media. Wi-Fi is no more the media it used to be. So people have the opinions that, can I make it my first network? Oh, yes, you can. And it should be the first network, unless you really don't want to progress. It's like, when the Microsoft Excel, you use it, people use it, it used to have more bugs, it used to crash. Does that mean you use books and only books for managing the business? And now you have AI, and you know what? AI has some things which we may not like. It may have some problems. Does that mean we don't use it? I get 25 times more productivity because I use AI. That's the thing. The world is, Wi-Fi is much more stable today. Wi-Fi is much more reliable today. So the people who are coming, they're coming from their background, from the scars on the back. And we have to just tell them, and we have to help them to understand the current status.
Well, and I love how earlier you talked very quickly about there's just use cases that where business success is tied to wireless. So there's this thing called the Internet of Things that is becoming more and more and more important. I was talking to a construction company the other day, and they're saying we need to be able to monitor the level of fuel in our trucks that are on site. I can't wire to the trucks. We were talking to another company that is a search and rescue company, and they go out into very, very remote areas. There's no wired connection, but there's life and death. So here's the question for you. It seems like there was a trend in digital transformation, and data was everything about the success of our business. The more that we understand and use our data for decision making, the better. It is now also very much part of the customer experience that we're providing. Access, I can't use my apps. I can't be in a retail environment. I can't unless I have access wherever I want to be as the customer. That's what I demand. So, how important when you're talking to your clients, the small clients, the Fortune 500 clients, how important is this wireless redundant access, this wireless first, do they see in terms of their business success?
Wow. I think there are a large number of businesses who are actually wireless only these days. Even in my own company, we have over 100 people and we are wireless only. We do not have the concept of, we have some cables because remember that wired is still the backbone, but that is the main role of wired. And for a lot of things, wired is not even the backbone. I'm going to the 5G network directly. I have sensors and IoT devices which are connected to 5G, and I have no interest in even going through Wi-Fi also for that. I'm going directly on that. So whether it's a Wi-Fi or non-Wi-Fi, wireless is the standard for connectivity. Internally in my office, I don't think we can even operate if we had to put some wired ports and connect people and devices to wired. I cannot even imagine. It's such a flexible workspace. And in after COVID, people have learned to be even much more comfortable environment. And everybody worked in COVID at home. I remember, I was young once when there were wired cables connected to my desk, and I was sitting at desktop on those things, or with the AOL modem and things like that. Those things are gone. I don't think my kids will even sit on a desktop like that. Like those days are gone. People need flexibility where they sit, where they work, how they work. That freedom only comes with wireless. And you cannot block people's mind or way of working by tying them with cables. I just cannot even imagine that. Why it is important? Because that's how my Wi-Fi access points are connected to the cable that comes from Xfinity or AT&T fiber, things like that. But after that, it's all wireless. Even when I was with Google, we had actually worked on, we used to have like fear. I need so much ports. I need all Ethernet ports, all gigabit ports. No, you don't need 3 ports in gigabit. You know what? Let's help you. Let's get you 1 port at least. And it reduces the cost. Just imagine reducing the third giga fiber port, which has to be deployed via wireless. So it is a huge cost and management. And then the beauty is wired ports are also limited. It is, and wired world is limited now. So wireless is providing everything.
Is that why you could have written your book AI for networking, right? What is unique about the wireless network that brings out the promise, the future, the opportunity of AI that wired can't?
Oh, prioritization, custom experience. Think like this. I am sitting, I am doing a phone call, important video call, or I'm like in this podcast with you, right? My son is playing a video game and my daughter is working and my wife is watching TV and Netflix. Everything is working on wireless, everybody, right? This is where the AI helps. AI can help and ensure the quality of experience that nobody else can, because AI knows, AI can determine the patterns and see what's important. You do not have to depend upon pre-configured rules. In fact, that is the other evolution that has happened in the space. That's why I said with the AI and with the current state, I don't think you can be in a wireless as a secondary option. It is the primary option. It is the first option because AI can optimize, AI can prioritize the traffic, AI can look at it, what's going on, AI can establish the patterns, AI can predict the patterns. See, prediction is so critical. Ethernet traffic is not predicting. The CSMA CD is happening there and traffic is going there and everything. They are not designed for those things. Wi-Fi is like it can design for this, predicting the traffic, prioritizing for people, access point defining it for people, giving them the best experience for the application they are using or who is using. And that's the beauty that can be so naturally built in on with the AI. And one reason I will tell you honestly why AI for Wi-Fi or wireless networking, because people have this need or fear of that I needed to manage it. I need to do something more with it, because if it will go down, what happens? It goes down, right? Like, Verizon spends over $100 million every year for supporting the Wi-Fi issues at homes. So they have to do the truck rolls because something is not working. How do you solve that problem? So you need that AI, and that's because Wire does not have that problem. I totally understand that. But the flexibility it gives, plus you add AI on it, I think you have a network which is better experience than anything else.
So that's what I was just going to come back to when you came back to it. Better experience. So when we translate that into the world of business, there was actually a McKinsey study that came out in 2023 and that looked at over 400 different highly profitable companies, B2C and B2B, that had greatest return on shareholder value. And one of the things that they determined was that the number one differentiator in the market for all those companies was customer experience. So when you talk about a better optimized experience, whether it's for a B2B customer or a B2C customer in a retail environment, or it's access to mission critical data in a B2B environment that's coming in from remote locations or serving clients in remote locations. Tell me a little bit about when we talk about the ability to optimize the experience as one of the biggest differentiators in a business. Paint that picture a little bit more for us, if you could.
All right. So customer experience, we live in an era where it's all about the customer. And customer experience, actually, specifically, it starts when you touch that network. You connect, and they are actually expecting everything working. The prioritization, they want complete optimal experience for them. Nobody has time for people to wait for answers is gone. Attention spans are gone. They used to be 12 seconds when I was young, and now I think it is 8 seconds. So even 10-second TikTok is too long. It has to communicate the message in first. And you know what I do myself? I swipe it right away. Like, it cannot start within first sentence, which is interesting. It's gone. So it's not even like 8 seconds. I'm not even giving it. So customer experience is so important to get the right attention immediately and giving them customized, personalized. If it is not relevant, I don't want it. Why are you giving me something which is not like why TikTok has it for you? That is the main page for you. These are something coming for you. That's the key. How it is personalized. What is personalized? You know what? Give me an advert. I'm sitting there and there is an advertisement for how it will help if you have young children going to school. That advertisement is completely useless for me because my children are older now. So it doesn't even matter. Personalization in the message that is coming to me, and world is still working towards it. Super important. That's how I see. And then that customer experience is when you enter, it's the onboarding. In the network work, it's the onboarding. You go to the airport, how quick and easy it was able to join, access, and get going. And was the network able to, like, you go to Marriott hotel and they already, oh, you are a Marriott guest. They auto connect because they recognize that this device has been connected in another Marriott hotel and it's a Marriott pre-guest. Maybe privacy creep, but maybe it has a value to me. Yes, my experience, I do not have to struggle to get into the network because I need to go to the network, use the network for whatever. That's the customer experience is at those things. And then prioritization, then ability to complain or fix self. Most of the time, people do not want to call. People don't want to talk to anybody and they want to get the problem solved in their own privacy. And I do not want to, like, how I have a problem. No, I don't. And you know what? Everything I want to do, like I was talking to somebody, people don't even want to talk. We talk with fingers these days. So I want to talk and solve the problem. So that is where the customer experience is important. And how do you enable that? That's where the world is naturally gravitating towards AI, because AI bots, AI agents can help this. And this is where the whole customer experience, autonomous networking, we can talk about it also. Autonomous networking becomes very important because that is what enables customer experience at every level, because customer experience is not in one dimension. Customer experience is a orchestra. It's an orchestra played like this. Is the customer getting this? You take care of this, you take care of this. And there are 20 AI agents or processes or people making sure that the customer gets the right experience. Somebody is, oh, the person is getting the right advertisement on social media, person is getting the right Wi-Fi connectivity, and these are different agents working together.
I love your analogy of the orchestra. It's so visual. And when you said earlier, like 10 seconds is too long for TikTok, I had somebody ask me the other day, are you the kind of person that can't wait for the microwave, that when it gets down under 10 seconds, you can't wait for the 10 seconds to end? You stop and you open the door anyways. Like we are very impatient. And that translates into our expectations. You know, Amazon has changed their world in terms of what we expect and how quickly and what kind of information and access we have. So here's a big question for you. Help us understand the future. You wrote the book on AI for wireless networks, right? What's coming? Like, what can we look forward to?
Job loss? No. Well, you know what? It's not a laughing matter, but it will happen. Okay. And that doesn't mean there will be no jobs increased in some other space. But when I say job loss, it will be job loss for the roles whose purpose was to support, because support will become very automated. So it's like, Tesla. What Tesla did, it brought the self-driving to forefront of every thought process. And did others follow? Yes. And some are more or less successful, probably. But the key thing is the autonomous. That car can drive by itself. Same thing is coming for a lot of departments, lot of businesses, like autonomous. And I give you examples, and this is not just thing, and wireless will be a big part of it, because wireless will provide the connectivity to all these autonomous agents. And when I say agents, the autonomous AI agents providing it, it will be an orchestra of AI agents helping supporting the network and taking care of it. So you do not have to worry. So think like this: if your Wi-Fi access point was not just one access point, it was actually multiple agents working, monitoring. There is an agent sitting in the service provider. There is an agent inside the access point. There is an agent on your device or laptop, and they are coordinating and ensuring the experience, prioritization, optimization, and all those things. And throughout end-to-end networks, autonomous networks is going to be the big thing. I actually think we will see significant deployments in autonomous networks by 2030. Things will happen. People will move in that direction, because people, the system engineer who is configuring, opening CLI and configuring to keep the networking up, that job will reduce. As it will reduce, because it will be the autonomous agent working in that direction. I'm not saying that SC will not be needed. SC will do something else. SC will probably create more autonomous agents and think of more ideas how they can make the network even better and more autonomous. Autonomous agent network is not like a vending machine. People will put it and it starts working. No, autonomous networks is about a lot of AI agents coordinating, working together, and creating new rules. There is a new reasoning happening within the AI figuring it out how I balance. Think like this. This is where I believe. Before the current AI, there has been old AI. I have been working in classic AI for many years, and it is also very critical and important. And I also use the term classic AI to describe the AI, which is about forecasting, anomalies, analytics, and all those things. And now when people say AI today, it is all about generative AI. But what is the generative AI value? And I think that is where this whole autonomous journey will happen. Even the cars, they were done differently. And this whole autonomous journey changes the equation. And what happens in this new model is you have AI agent working on, like, think like this, like a subject matter experts. So there are multiple AI agents which are specifically capable of something, and they are doing something. Now suddenly you have a autonomous network in which one agent is focused on one thing, another agent is focused on one thing. They are all focused on each individual things, and then they talk to each other. But you know what? The beauty is, it's not just that they talk to each other. Now there is AI reasoning, which is using the knowledge and the information and history and using that to decide what should we do. That part has been always missing in the AI world, the reasoning piece. AI can decide, but the reasoning was software was deciding it. Now the AI will decide, and that's what makes AI very, very interesting. So that whole reasoning element, like having a central orchestra maestro, which is reasoning and giving the directions to everybody and changing it based on whatever needs to happen. That is the piece. That is the autonomous network central piece is going to come. And that is, I see as the game changer. Other day, I was explaining somebody, I was talking about autonomous optical networks, and then I explained to the person using autonomous restaurant example. I said, think like this. What is in a restaurant? And you know what? The person was like, oh, yeah, cooks, chefs. I said, that's a very small part, and that part may not change until robotics is very solid. However, there is so much part. Now I want you to imagine an AI agent which is following all the social media and making sure what's happening on the social media. Then you have an AI agent which is designing the menu cards and looking at it, what is selling, what is not selling, and updating the menus. Then there is an AI agent which is actually tracking the inventory and ordering products based on that. So I said running a restaurant is a difficult job, small parts. There are so many things you have to do to be successful, and it became a high cost business because I have to do all those things. And how do you do all that? But with the AI, suddenly you add an autonomous restaurant piece with multiple AI agents coordinating and working together. You have a restaurant orchestra. Restaurant is working because now I only need to focus on cooking and somebody is taking care of the other. Same thing in the network. Networks are so difficult. They need so much. Capacity is increasing. Suddenly, a new Costco is opening and traffic goes up because the Costco has opened in that area or something else happens. The network changes. What happens in the network is always changing, and the growth is tremendous. And this is where the autonomous will bring that capability where the network is managed and monitored and maintained for the optimal experience without humans and hands.
I have a nephew that is at one of the top generative AI companies. And I asked him, he's a developer. I said, is your own technology going to put you out of business? And he says, no. He says, we use it as a tool. So we instruct it to then do the actual coding that we need to do, that myself and my background, it's not efficient for me to actually do the coding or to have them do the coding, but we're still giving it direction. So sometimes it's going to replace people, sometimes it's not. But I want to ask you one last question because it's about the takeaway, the one thing that you want people to take away from our whole entire conversation about AI and wireless networks. Here's my takeaway is that wireless and AI working together are only going to become more and more important. And we're going to want to be more and more dependent on that. That's my takeaway from everything you said there, but I would love to have your takeaway.
No, you are on the money. AI will reshape the wireless networking and it will continue to reshape. And the direction is autonomous networking, and that is coming. And that is autonomous networking is nothing but AI plus wireless, right? And wired networks, they will be there. The backbone will be always there wired, and no problem there. Let it be. Fiber optics, let it be. It's needed. Without that, you don't have it. Wireless has its own limitations with respect to distance and so many things. So it doesn't matter. But wireless will be the access network. It is the only access network. When I was in Symbol, our general manager, my first boss, he used to say the same thing at that point. I'm talking 2002, 3, and people were saying those things. The problem was, as I said, it was early stage. It was getting defined. And when something is getting defined, it's not ready for the prime time for everybody. And now it is beyond definition. It's beyond prime time. I don't think people should worry about that. People should only focus on how to use AI, or in fact, somebody will use it. Just focus on how to use it because somebody will use AI and make your network better. I do not think any company offering wireless will not use AI. Providing any network will not use some technologies or AI agents for autonomous networking to make networks perfect. I do not think that's possible. I know it's a very, very cliche, like people say a lot of peanut and peanut butter and chocolate combination. Wireless and AI is that. AI will make it so much better, and it is already making it better, like self-help, so many things coming already. AI is making Wi-Fi better for everyone, anyone today, and I think it will continue to do that throughout the world.
And if I heard you correctly, that these autonomous networks, the only way that autonomous networks are connected is through wireless, right?
No, there is a wired way in the back. They will talk to wired also because there will be agents everywhere, but wireless will be a key part of that also.
The system engineers or the IT operators that I talk with, they want what you're talking about. They want a turnkey, easy system that they don't have to personally manage and maintain.
Yeah. And I think companies will take time. The problem is a lot of companies, especially in Wi-Fi world, and a lot of this, I will tell you, honestly, the fact is I'm old. So there are a lot of people who are older. I moved into the AI space and I moved completely since 2014. I actually put extra effort to move into the space. I was excited about it and I was like, I have to get into it. But there are a lot of people who are not. So, you know what? The people who are doing networking and technology, they are talking about AI as a add-on, not the ground up. They're not thinking AI like AI is the essential element. It takes time. It will take time, but it will change. I really believe that.
Well, the mission of this podcast is to bring different experts from throughout the network industry and IT industry and share our perspectives, share our insights, share the trends of the future and how it's being shaped, and how do we solve problems of today. And if we all do that, then I call that the rising tide that lifts all boats. And you did a great job at being the rising tide today.
I am a believer. I believe in wireless. I believe in AI. What can I do? I'm very happy that I get a chance to meet you and talk to you here.
Well, if people had additional questions, would it be appropriate that we gave out a link to your LinkedIn profile that people could reach out to you?
Always LinkedIn, yes. And you know what? I say this to people. I do have time in hand. I do have a lot of time in hand to make time for people, to talk them, help them, guide them because I use AI. So it has freed me up. I am 25 times more productive than I was. So now you can imagine what it is going to do with your networks and to everybody around the world because of this. So I think it's a good thing. And if people want to even learn, whether for Wi-Fi or AI or how they can do something or contribute, yeah, please send a message and let's connect.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you, AJ, for coming on. Really do appreciate it.
Very nice, sir. Thank you. Take care. Okay.